Ladies and gentlemen, everybody always asks me how far along the cycle we are in Web3 gaming and what we can expect from ecosystems such as the Gala Games one. This is Classy Games. We will go over Web3 gaming and everything in between. If you enjoy content like this, as always, feel free to go ahead, like and subscribe. But I want to start off this video by touching base on one very important comparison, and that is Counter-Strike global offensive markets and how they move. In fact, you could use a lot of the same comparisons from CSGO markets in the same tune to the cryptocurrency markets in Web3 gaming. And so if you've ever seen any market analysis on Counter-Strike Global Offensive, one of the largest games on the planet, in fact, probably the biggest market in terms of speculation in the regular gaming world. In fact, people just kind of wondering how the heck this is even happening in the first place. I'll explain that and more. And I've been doing a lot of market research lately on Counter-Strike. In fact, I've spent quite a bit of money on skins in CSGO. And here's the deal. There's a couple of different factors that happen here. As you can see, these are all time charts here from 2022 to 2023. This one's all the way from June 18th to where we are today. And I feel like we'll do a couple comparisons. In fact, we'll start off with this sticker capsule first and kind of explain from there onward. Now, sticker capsules are given pretty much through major events in CSGO. And in this specific one in Antwerp 2022, this Legend sticker capsule, which came out last year, actually went down in price from its initial release of $1 all the way down to 27 cents. Now, you're probably wondering how in the world it ended up at a $2.22 mark, which is, by the way, a 10x in your investment in a very short period of time. And this is on Counter-Strike. I mean, this is a game on Steam right now you can play. Isn't that crazy how you can do that? Literally, blockchain, the only difference is that we can pretty much trade with more liquidity, of course, if there's people trading, and you also get to cash out seamlessly. That's the only difference. And so CSGO markets, they work very similar. A big reason that the sticker capsule initially fell down in price is because of the fact that when these initially release, speculation is usually really high. There's a lot of hype, and people just buy in like crazy. But the thing is, this demand dries up at some point, and really until the next hype cycle where these stop getting minted as much, that's kind of where you see the price action begin to increase. In fact, I believe something that may remind you a little bit of this chart, in fact, right here, where you had the initial run, it was massive, and then you had a huge correction downward, and now we're kind of stabilizing here at the 4-cent mark for the Gala token. Let's actually go ahead and compare this to CSGO Stocks' clutch case, and in fact, we can do it with a couple cases: the Danger Zone, the Fracture, of course, gloves have been performing incredibly well, and Prisma, blah, blah, blah. We can go all day about cases. Cases in general are just doing really well right now. But something you'll notice is back in 2018, a lot of these skins were really expensive. I mean, it was $9 for a case, quickly crashed all the way down to 20 cents. This is pretty much when an item is recently released and there's not a lot of it in supply, spikes up in price artificially. Over time, as it gets minted out, it just goes down in price naturally, right? So it went to 20 cents. In fact, at some point, it was at 3 cents and it was pretty much dead. It had its little run up to 12 cents, and now it's sitting at $1.33, which is significantly higher than the 3-cent price point it was in prior years. Now, you're probably wondering why, and the answer is because the clutch case actually isn't redeemable anymore in CSGO. You can't, well, not redeemable, you just can't earn it from playing the game anymore. In fact, they have a pretty interesting play to earn component where people earn cases on CSGO and they can sell them for real money. So it's play to earn's been here. It's not like it's something new. Just blockchain technology enables it to become that much better, which is why I think people sometimes are thinking that normal games in Web 2 don't have this kind of stuff. They do. They just don't have it as seamless as Web3 is trying to portray itself. So the clutch cases, they stopped being in circulation, and they just naturally went up in price as a result. More people opened up cases, and now you're all of a sudden in a place where there's scarcity, and because of that scarcity, things are beginning to rise. And this is what's happening kind of in the Gala ecosystem. I get people kind of commenting, talking about the fact that, you know, the Gala token, it has pretty high emissions. In fact, I believe it's somewhere around 4 million per day. Well, it's 2 to 4 million per day. There is some burnt, so it's about 1 million. You'd have to do the math on that. It depends, of course, day by day and how much transaction volume is happening. But I see the situation very similar. In fact, in the past 3 months, we've had capitulation events a couple of times, but overall, we had that 1.6 cent bottom, and now we're all of a sudden getting closer to a halving, which is going to reduce the amount entering into the supply every year by half, and that just, by the way, keeps going. It keeps just accumulating over and over and over, and I feel like we're getting closer and closer to that CSGO moment where you just have that huge run. And plus, don't forget that CSGO 2 is happening, and because of that, there's even more pent-up demand for this product. And so when these Gala games end up becoming closer and closer to being released, you could see how the demand for these assets inherently just kind of go up. In fact, something interesting to note talking about releases is every time that Miranda seems to have a playtest, a ton of speculation happens. I don't own any Ethereum personally. None of this is financial advice, by the way. It is what it is. But from what I have observed, every single time there's a playtest, it goes from, whatever price it was at, and then it just spikes like crazy. Like this one from 11 cents over here, and then the playtest happened 22 cents. This one went absolutely parabolic on release, 40 cents almost to $1. And then this one went from 6 cents ish all the way to 26 cents so far. And this playtest hasn't even happened yet, and it's holding values that are heavily elevated. Of course, I will warn you that the liquidity isn't the greatest on these trading pairs, so do your own research on this kind of stuff. In fact, like Silk is a great example of this, where they had their initial release, people were very hyped for it, boom, it had a crash, and then for the longest of time, the actual blockchain Gyri wasn't processing transactions, so it had an artificial price floor. People weren't able to really cash out their Silk. The second that this changed, the price crashed from $1.30 all the way down to 70 cents, and really has been kind of going down as the SpiderTags economy has been struggling to find that stability because there's not enough players playing the game. Now, something interesting to note is that it's bottomed out at around 32 cents, now at 44 cents because of the anticipation that Silk is going to be earned at a much higher rate from the pool emissions, and I'm assuming that the people playing Spider Tanks want to keep the Silk price as high as possible. So it's a really interesting market dynamic to find really early on in the crypto sphere. But something I think you all need to focus on here is the fact that during this entire time span of July 2018 all the way to January 2023, before this absolutely massive parabolic run leading into CS2, there was no movement. I mean, you could see the charts. For the longest of time, there was absolutely nothing happening. Of course, this is way more recent stuff. Look at the all chart, and it's painting a different story. January 2017 did nothing all the way into 2 years down the line where it finally started moving. Had a huge spike over here at 292, halved in price, almost died out, and now it's at a brand new all-time high. The same story is with many different cases in CSGO as they begin to lose circulation in the supply. And it's been a really interesting observation to find many of the regular Web2 gaming ecosystems, which are extremely popular, using essentially the same exact thing that regular gamers are doing. And, what do we take from this? I think the simple thing that we take from this is there is absolutely nothing wrong with talking about ecosystems. I think, in fact, League of Legends had black market sells on these extremely rare skins like Black Alistar, etc., etc. There's nothing wrong about speculating on these markets. In fact, that's kind of just a game for some people in and of itself. So let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Until the next time, stay classy, and that's all.